Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to InnoTrans here in Berlin, and we're on the Ericsson stand, and I'm joined by Nicolas from the company. Just explain to us a little bit, Nicolas, about what Ericsson is highlighting at this year's InnoTrans.
Thank you. Welcome to InnoTrans booth, to Ericsson booth. So Ericsson is present at InnoTrans because we are entering into the rail market to provide FRMCS end-to-end solution and 5G corridor project, meaning that we will enable gigabit trend to happen for passenger connectivity with high-speed data rates.
So this is using 5G telecoms to provide a level of connectivity to the train that we can't do today. Is that the basis?
So yeah, the basis is on one hand for passenger services to get more attractivity for the train to make high connectivity for any specific use case like mobile office, etc. Yeah. But also for the railway operators to enable having the new standard 5G base, which is called FRMCS, yeah, to be deployed and to be deployed in a safe and efficient manner to enable the correct rail operation, which will replace the existing system, GSMR based.
Yeah. So GSMR is already used in ETCS and signaling applications, but obviously with FRMCS, with 5G telecoms, there'll be more capability because there will be more data transferred to the train. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, the purpose of FRMCS is not only to replace the GSMR and to, let's say, solve the problematics of GSMR obsolescence, but it's also for railway operators to enable new use cases, which goes to potential automatic train operation levels with different grades of operations, and then also to add any additional performance use cases which could enable some assets management on video-based with preventive maintenance, for instance, and different types of new services that 5G network can enable.
Yeah, because we're quite limited as an industry, aren't we, by GSMR, which is kind of from the 90s, and in a telecoms perspective, it's approaching the end of its life.
Yes, but GSMR was a good success to prove that a common standard can be operated all over Europe. And the idea of FRMCS is to take this successful deployment and to make it broaden in terms of use cases. And that's the idea by using the 5G 3GPP standard that can afford to have multiple type of use cases for voice, like it was in GSMR, but also many data services, including video, real-time needs with low latency.
Yeah.
That's the.
So what kind of projects are you working on currently? Are you doing any trials with 5G at the moment? Any case studies of work you're doing today that you can tell us about?
Well, indeed, we are having this year, 2024, and this is why Ericsson is really strongly present in this InnoTrans. We are having a real momentum. This year is a pivotal year for Ericsson. We are having not only trial on FRMCS with different products that are presented here. We are involved in some big European program you may have heard about, which is called Morane 2, for the testing program of FRMCS standard. And on the other hand, we are not only doing trials, we are having already deployment of 5G corridors, meaning 5G infrastructure along railway tracks in some contract like we have in Spain, which is presented in our booth. And with this specific solution, we will build up the grid, I would say, for the rail 5G infrastructure that would be needed in the future FRMCS deployment.
Sure. So we're actually reaching the start of the delivery phase of FRMCS, aren't we, over the next few years? Where would you say that we are as an industry in terms of making FRMCS a reality?
Well, in some specific lines, which are the so-called corridor, when there will be passenger connectivity, then we are building up an infrastructure which will be reused for potential FRMCS deployment, future deployment.
Okay.
Then from an FRMCS, let's say, usage for rail operation, as industry, we enter into a new step which is setting up an overall European testing program with many players of the overall FRMCS ecosystem, so many industry players. 4 railways are involved to provide some test track in Europe. And with this program, we will, let's say, validate the FRMCS specification to make it then available for next coming commercial deployments projects. So I would say that industry is now equipped and is fine-tuning the different solution to have an end-to-end FRMCS available network to be proposed for rail operators for next coming deployments.
And one of the big issues that's been discussed over recent years with FRMCS is access to frequency bands and spectrum. Do you think that question has been resolved? What is Ericsson's view on that topic?
Well, in Europe there is no debate. The question has been resolved. There is 2 frequency bands that has been regulated and that has been assigned for railway operation in 5G. So one on the 900 band, so the N100, and the other one on the 1900 megahertz band, which is the N101. So this is already granted for railway usage. In some other countries like UK, where it's out of Europe, or potentially other countries out of Europe, then there is still, depending on the country, some discussion on what should be the spectrum. But the idea is to use the same type of band that will be deployed all over Europe, because you have an ecosystem related to that. So there would be, there could be a different approach, which is to use, but partially for some FRMCS use cases, the mobile operator spectrum. But this is also being tested in the next coming program, and we will see with the result to which extent this can be used for FRMCS deployment. But then the dedicated spectrum for railways in country out of Europe is expected to reuse the same, let's say, type of model that will be deployed in Europe, just to ensure, let's say, the proper ecosystem to be used.
Yeah, and it will make life easier for the supply chain and for all the actors within
and somehow it's following the same GSMR trend, which is, in the history, GSMR was a big success as we did to make a common standard in Europe, and we saw that it has been adopted all over the world, not only Europe. So we expect that FRMCS will go in the same path.
Follow the same pattern, So just a final question then, Nicolas. So we're about halfway through InnoTrans as we record this interview. What are you hoping to get from the trade show? Obviously, the whole railway world meets here in Berlin every 2 years. What is Ericsson, and what are you hoping to get from the show?
Well, for Ericsson, that's very important momentum, as I said, because this year is quite a pivotal year for us. And it's something a bit new for Ericsson. We were on the last InnoTrans 2 years ago, so this is our second participation. But this one is the main one, because we have already existing project we are working on with the railways. And then it is important for us to have presence in this fair, to receive all our customers, to talk with our partners. That's the ideal place for that type of exchange, once every 2 years. Of course, in between the different one-to-one engagement we can have. And then, InnoTrans, as it is, as a fair, there's no doubt. As Ericsson, we know very well the Mobile World Congress, which is one of the biggest, it's the biggest fairs in the telecom industry. Looking that InnoTrans is even bigger than Mobile World Congress, it makes the dimension of and the importance of this type of events.
So it underlines.
Very excited to be here.
It underlines as well how global the rail industry can be, even if in some ways it's still quite a nationally focused industry. But then with projects like FRMCS that are truly international, this is a real meeting point to discuss these key trends.
Yes, and the meeting point is also based on the technology. Ericsson is now engaging a lot in railways because we are a leader in 5G technology. And 5G is a platform that enables many use cases from out of the consumer market. So use cases for railways, but also for other mission critical applications. Public safety, we are having a lot of projects coming up in this domain, utilities, and also for defense. So we are moving in different other markets from the, let's say, generic consumer market.
Sure.
And this is thanks to the 5G platform.
Superb. Well, thank you very much, Nicolas, for explaining that, explaining Ericsson's presence at InnoTrans and telling us a little bit about the current state of progress with FRMCS, which will be one of the critical rail and telecoms digitalization programs of the next few years. Thank you very much, Nicolas.
Thank you very much.
Thank you and goodbye.